Hey, we're back for another life skills, and life skills has really been kind of the heart and soul of Rogue Retreat over the years. And I feel really bad that we can't do it in person, but we're doing our very best. I love our team as they're putting these videos together. Our goal with life skills is just to speak life into the people that are in Rogue Retreat, the participants, to let them know how valuable they are, and that if they would just listen and keep doing the next right thing, great things can happen. And that's kind of been a theme that we've had over the years, is doing the next right thing. And today we're going to talk about our levels of our program and what they mean and how we work through them and where it gets people. And I think Heather's going to explain some things at the end, which I think will be very helpful. I've just watched over the years that when we have an attitude of being teachable and learning, and that really should carry us all through our lives, no matter how young or old we are. We can always learn something new, and we can always learn how to do things better, and that's really important. And when we take that next right step, it always leads us to the next right step and the next right step. And we believe we have a higher power. We have a God who's going to guide those steps and get us to where we need to go. And I've watched the people that take it really seriously. They're doing so amazing today, and it's like they didn't even have a previous life. They have a whole different life. So pay attention to what you're learning today. If you can pick up one good point, it's worth it. And we'll see you next week.
Well, welcome to Life Skills. We're back again. This time we're in a Zoom meeting, and we're going to talk about what can our Rogue Retreat staff do to help you to prepare for permanent housing. So we have Liz and Charlena and Terry, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and then we're going to talk a little bit about that topic. So Liz.
Hi, everyone. Most of you know me. I'm Liz Adams. I'm the program director here, and we're going to give you a little bit of helpful advice on how to find rentals out in the community and how to prepare for it. Charlena?
I'm Charlena. I'm a case manager. I do the women's recovery houses. Terry?
Oh, I'm Terry. I'm right now at Hope Village. I'm case managing the women here and a couple of guys.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us today. And so I wanted to start off with just a question about maybe what is our program here? Can you guys describe like the different levels of housing and the levels of self-sufficiency? Can you guys kind of start us off with just a description of what that is?
So I'll jump in first, and then I'm going to hand it over to the other two ladies to fill in the pieces here. So when you first come into our program, we start working, we call it our levels chart. We work with you to try and get all of your basic necessities, and I'm looking at one right now, and I see that changing your address with the DMV, the housing authority, food stamp office, things like that. Those are important pieces. But there's also something on here that talks about applying for all low-income housing in our community. So there's a reason why we want you to do that in the beginning, because a lot of them have very lengthy waiting lists. And so we want to get you on as quick as we can, so that while we're working with you throughout the time you're in our program, maybe your name will come up on one of those waiting lists. Getting your ID and your birth certificate and social security cards, those are all other important pieces when you're on your journey to finding employment, finding housing. Maybe Charlena, we can maybe chat with them about the next level and the different components in that.
So our next level is foundational needs. So that's where you want to find a doctor, a dentist, a mental health provider if you need one. Make sure that you know the appropriate channels for healthcare, which is not just to run to the emergency room. See if you can find some sort of reliable transportation, whether that be the bus, walking, friends or family, or your own car. If you have children, it's reliable childcare of some sort. We like for you to get a credit report, which we pay for. That's important so that you know what kind of debt you have, so you can start working to figure out how to repay that debt, or if you just need to file bankruptcy or whatever that may be. We like for you to work on a budget so you know what you have available for what you need as time goes on during your time with us. We continue to have you work on budgets so that when the time comes and you're actually at level 5, you know what you can afford to pay for rent for somewhere outside of our program.
Terry?
Number 3. Level 3 is skill building, and it starts with education path. If you don't have a high school diploma or GED, we have like RCC has those classes, and Family Nurturing Center has those classes. So we can guide you to where you can go to get those done. And also there's some vocational schools we can tell you about, like Abdil and Fagans, and or online coursework. Or you might be ready just to get into the employment path, or you already might be employed. If you're not, the Job Council, or now it's called the Work Source, has the iMatch program, and they also have a lot of foundational skills workshops, and there is an NCRC, and that's basically, if you complete all that, you get a certificate that you're ready to work, and then you go about looking for employment. And there's also the benefit path if you're wanting to get on, if you're on SSI or SSDI, that would also complete your level 3. And then we haven't really talked about recovery goals, but if you are in recovery by level 3, we're hoping that you have 6 months. To get done with level 3, you have to have 6 months of clean and sober time, and also actively working with a sponsor or a recovery coach, or both, because that's a big part of our program too. A lot of us that work here are in recovery, and if we don't have our recovery first, none of these other things are going to matter in the long run anyway.
So that then takes us to level 4, but I'm going to jump back to what Terry was saying about level 3, and that is finding employment. So we talked in the very beginning about getting you prepared and what's necessary to move forward and find permanent housing out in our community. Having employment, having a reliable monthly income is going to be crucial in getting a landlord to rent to you. So now at level 4, basically that you have a stable job, you have sufficient income to meet your monthly bills. You're rebuilding your credit. You have payment plans with some of your creditors. You're getting some of that old debt cleaned up. You have a checking or a savings account, and you're starting to put money aside every month. That's kind of getting towards the end of our program. And then level 5 is now we think you're ready, and you're going to start actively looking for housing. So that's kind of how our levels go, and kind of tie into the preparing someone for looking for housing out in the community.
So it sounds like a person just kind of takes baby steps, and they just keep stepping and stepping until they get to where they want to go, right?
Right. No, go ahead, Susan.
Oh, no, I just said, is that kind of how it works? That people, I mean, they're not expected to do a lot of stuff in one level, right? Or is it?
No, it could take somebody a couple of years to work through these levels. It's unique for each individual. Some folks may come to us and already have a lot of these things tackled, and maybe their only need right now is housing. Maybe they have burned a landlord in the past, or went through a divorce and lost the place they were living. There's a number of reasons why somebody comes to us. Just renting from us is helping to rebuild that rental history. And that's what landlords in our community are looking for. They want a solid, stable source of income. They want to see some good rental history. And Your credit, they want to see decent credit. Not all landlords care for a credit score, but they don't want to see bad debts to previous landlords, utility companies, because those are the things that are going to affect them. And then the criminal background piece, some landlords don't even run criminal background checks anymore. Some do. So there's expungement clinics to help with getting some of that stuff off of your record also. One of the things we're doing here is we're trying to prepare you to go out into the community and build good relationships with landlords and build a strong foundation.
And one thing I like to work with people from the beginning is, and this won't pertain to maybe everybody, but working on their self-esteem, and because a lot of people have been beaten down quite a bit, and learning to feel good about themselves. So when they are out there wanting to rent something, they feel good enough about themselves to be able to speak up for themselves and say, well, I might not have the greatest this, but I've done this, this, and this to improve my life, and talk yourself up. And that's part of our training and working with folks too.
And along the same lines also, it's so if somebody's looking for a job, we help them with the resume building and interviewing skills. So it's the same thing when someone's looking for a rental. We kind of educate them on what are some of the best approaches. Go in the morning.
Right.
Go dress like you're going for a job interview. You want to make a really good first impression with that landlord. That's the only impression you're going to be able to make. If you pull up and your car is dirty and you open your door and trash is falling out, chances are that landlord's not going to even give you a second look. So we try to educate people on that. If you have children, maybe find a babysitter so you can go the first appointment alone, at least to turn in the application. Because like I said, I've had people that maybe have not had that wonderful rental history in their past, but they made such a lasting impression with these landlords that they gave them a chance, and it turned out to really work well. There was something else I was going to say, and I can't remember it now.
So how important is that case management piece? I mean, I know that's what you guys do. You help people take those steps. Why is that so important?
Well,
Karina, do you want to answer that one?
I was going to let Terry.
I know.
it was gonna.
So case management is just important because we help you make those small attainable goals to get you to where you need to be. We try and help you talk through any issues that you have. Some people have baggage from their past, or they're struggling with just some people future trip. Some people are just stuck in the now. So we just try and help people through all of that.
Good.
And also birth certificates, social security cards, and IDs are a must. And a lot of people have somehow out there lost all those things, and you don't really get anywhere without those. And so those are real important too. And having learning how to budget and those kind of things. They're all things that you have to do, just helping them to grow up a little bit. We all have to grow up whether we like it or not, and be responsible and pay our bills on time.
And that's a good piece, Terry. So all of you, when you're living in our program, regardless of whether it's in one of the apartments, one of the houses, Hope Village, when you pay your rent or your program fee on time, you are building good rental history. When you do great on your inspections every week, you're building good rental history. Getting along with your neighbors, helping keep the property clean, your community clean. Those are all pieces that we are going to share with a future landlord. And so it's really important to begin those practices right now so that you are appealing to a landlord out there. The rental market is tough. And so we really want our folks to be well prepared, so that they're up there at the top of that list when landlords are trying to decide. I want to talk real quickly about two other possibilities that we have coming up in the near future. One of them is a ready to rent class that Susan is getting certified to be able to do right here in our office for our folks. So we'll be able to offer that at a future date. And another one, and we're not talking too publicly about this right now, but we have a grant that has been awarded to Rogue Retreat, and that will be, we'll be able to assist people moving forward from our program. But I want to make sure I reiterate here, it's not for the apartments. It's for the houses, Hope Village, our campground, and the Kelly shelter. So you have to still be considered homeless or in transitional housing to qualify. But with this grant, we will be able to help you with a new landlord be able to pay your deposit and potentially 3 months of rent in advance. And so that might be a good little carrot to dangle out there for landlords out in the community. So,
Right.
Any other pieces, Susan?
Well, we're kind of almost out of time, but maybe if you just want to leave us with a final thought, if you were a person in Rogue Retreat who was looking to go through the program and get out there on their own, what would you say to them? How would you encourage them?
I would say from previous experience, you need to accept all the help you can, because that's all we're here for. Even if you leave our program, we're still here for you. But while you're here, take advantage of all the opportunities that you can, learn as much as you can, because we're just here to help you overcome whatever barriers you have so you can move back out into independent housing.
Right. And we're not asking you to do anything that won't help your life to improve.
Yeah, and if you feel like we're going a little bit too fast, speak up. This is your life. We're here to help you put your life back on track. So we want you to work hard at it, but we're not going to push you to out of your comfort zone. So make sure you communicate very well with your case manager, and we will get you on the right path, and you will be successful.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing. Appreciate you guys and the work that you do and the work that we do here at Rogue Retreat. And if you're out there listening to this, just remember that you're loved, we care about you, and we want the best for you. And so, yeah, like Charlene said, just dig in and do the next right thing. So, all right. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, I'm Kaylee. I'm a participant of Rogue Retreat. I wanted to share my story a little bit with you guys. I was in my active addiction for about 2.5 years, and during that time I lost about everything that I valued and cared about, including my morals, and lost my daughter, my car, my house, my home, my everything. And after I was hospitalized and had to have heart surgery due to my addiction, I went into inpatient treatment at the ARC, and they were very helpful. They got me clean. But when it neared the end of my treatment in there, I didn't really know where I was going to go. And I knew that if I didn't have safe housing, I would end up right back on the streets, and I would get right back into the life I had been living. And by the grace of God, Rogue Retreat let me in. And they gave me a place to live and to call my home. And now, with their support, I'm able to live a good life. I'm clean and sober, plan to stay that way, and I have emotional and physical support through them. I'm currently in the process of getting my daughter back. She has a place to come and visit me and stay. We just moved our visits to 5 hours 2 times a week, and now we're moving into her being able to do overnights, which is incredible. I'm working full-time, piecing my life back together, and I really couldn't do it without Rogue Retreat.
Hey there. So this week we've been talking about how to get ready to be out on your own, renting your own place, or even buying a house if that's your goal. How can Rogue Retreat help you get ready for that? Well, our panel talked a little bit about those 5 levels, and I actually have a special guest here to help us kind of understand those levels a little bit better. And her name is Heather Hassett, and she was instrumental in kind of getting this whole case management thing going way back in the beginning when Rogue Retreat was just starting to work with homeless individuals and getting them housed. So I'm going to be asking her some questions, and she's going to be talking about that. And so, Heather? So, Heather.
Hi, Susan.
Hi, Heather. Thank you so much for doing this. I really just wanted to have you talk about those 5 levels and help us understand, where did that come from? How did you guys come up with that in the beginning?
Okay, so there is sometimes some confusion between the self-sufficiency scoring and the 5 levels of case management. So the two are not interrelated. The levels are kind of action steps towards self-sufficiency, and the self-sufficiency scoring is to track how people are moving forward in self-sufficiency. So one is the actions we're taking, the other is how we're measuring it.
Okay.
So the way that the levels really began is we noticed kind of a trend in where people were coming into Rogue Retreat in their journey. Some people already had a good foundation, but maybe they needed a job. And so that's kind of where our case management started with them. But some people didn't even have an ID, and we just really took a look at, so what are the pieces that they need to start doing the other things? And the way that my mind works is kind of, well, you got to do this before you can do this, and you got to do that before you can do that. And so we started with really the beginning is, well, if you don't have your birth certificate and your social security card and things like that, you can't get your ID. And if you don't have an ID, you can't apply for the Oregon Health Plan. If you don't apply for the Oregon Health Plan, you can't get physical medical services. Right. So really it just was kind of the basics. Okay, let's start with just your basic emergent needs, vital documents. And also we added to that getting on the Housing Authority wait list, because that's just so long. So we moved that to the beginning. It used to be further down. But so really getting all your foundational things met so that then you can go on to the next level. The next level then being your physical and mental health. If you have any chronic health conditions that haven't been addressed, or addiction issues that haven't been addressed, you're not going to succeed. Even if you are able to just go get a job, chances are that you won't succeed in that, because there will be something to prevent you from working. And whether it's a relapse or it's a chronic health condition that keeps you calling in sick. So those things need to be addressed before you can get the education or employment piece. Okay. So then once you have the stability to follow through with that, we also start talking about financial literacy. So, okay, now here's Adulting 101. Right. Here's how to pay your bills. Let's take a look at your budget. Let's see, what is your plan in the future and how can we help you get there? And then after that, it's moving on. What does that look like for you? Is it home ownership? Is it getting a subsidized rental out in the community? But really, so those steps go from, we got to start at square one, or, they've already got this, let's start them, at a higher level. And generally at the beginning, the levels were also kind of an incentive, because with each step up, you also had a new level of independence or freedoms in the program. So, you were able to move your case management farther out, then it's every other week instead of every week, things like that. So I'm not sure exactly where all that stands now. It's been 2 years since I've been, into that part of it. But so, and then the self-sufficiency outcomes matrix measures 15 different key life areas, whether it's housing, substance abuse, income, education, different things like that. And it measures, okay, how is the things that we've been having you do, how is that moving you towards self-sufficiency, getting out of crisis to thriving?
I love that.
So, do you have any questions?
No, I don't. Between what you just said and what the panel members said, I think, at least I'm hoping that people got a really good idea of what's behind all this 5 levels of everything. And,
Yeah.
you know, that just seems to be a theme for
We're a
retreat.
5-star retreat.
Yes, exactly.
Well,
Thank you,
you,
Heather.
Susan. You're welcome.
So hopefully that gave you a little more of an idea of what Rogue Retreat does, and all those levels that they've been talking about, now you know what they are. So before we leave, I want to talk to you about a couple things. First of all, I want you to check out this cool mask. Pretty cool, huh? So if you want one, they're $10. You can order them at the front desk at Rogue Retreat. And the other thing is, we hope that you are wearing a mask. Right now, because of COVID, everybody knows, and everybody knows the drill. But sometimes we can get a little bit sloppy with it. But there still really is a threat out there. And even if you don't personally believe that's true, do it for other people, right? We want to do things to protect people just in case, you know, maybe they're a little bit more vulnerable than we know. So wear your mask, make sure you wash your hands, all those things that you've been hearing, they really are things that we need to do. And so that's it for this week, and we'll see you next week. Have a great week.